This is the 2022 Ford Mustang Mach 1, and it is beautiful. Now this one is pretty much as loaded as the Mach 1's gonna get. It's got the Mach 1 appearance package, which is why we've got this fighter jet exterior paint. We've also got the handling package. We've got the elite package on top of that. So this thing looks pretty sharp. Like, having the appearance package is great because of all of the different decals that we get, but the handling package, we've got that performance splitter in the front, and then we've also got a unique spoiler in the back. This thing is really nice. Now, before we dive in and unpack the Mach 1, I do want to give Formula Ford a huge shout out for giving me access to this thing to shoot the video for you guys. Check down in the description below for their contact details. You can find the build link for this Mach 1, and then you'll also be able to find detailed videos on how to use the steering wheel cluster, the media screen, and things like that, as well as a more comprehensive look at the regular Mustang lineup. So let's unpack this thing and have a little bit of fun. This is going to be a little bit shorter than my typical videos, but some of the base highlights, because of the packages this has. The handling package gives us slightly different tires and rims. Like these things, the Pilot Sport Cup 2, this is essentially going to be a street legal slick rubber. Like, look at this. Next to no groove in there, this is the tire that you want if you're going to be taking this thing on the track. We've also got our Brembo calipers there, so 6-piston calipers with improved braking performance as well. And then because this thing is the Mach 1, it also does have the Magneride damping system. So Magneride is essentially going to be magnetic particles inside of the suspension system. So as you go to turn left, right aggressively, it's going to essentially lock that suspension up to deal with body roll. So rather than the body looking kind of like this as you turn, it's going to be flatter. So again, improved handling and performance, especially if you're planning on tracking it. There we go, especially if you're planning on tracking it, but it is nice. Now, there are a few things. We do have our front headlamps there. This splitter along the very bottom there, that's going to be standard to the handling package inside of the Mach 1. We've got this great looking grille, beautiful black pony badge right along the front there as well. It flows so nicely, and like these mean looking rims look really sharp. And then if we look, so that same styling that we've got for the front lip of the bumper there follows through the body as well. As we get into the back end, follows up around. It's kind of got like a carbon fiber type of look to it. It's got this like honeycomb type. It's interesting, just the way that this thing is put together. Now looking at the back end of the Mach 1, we've got our Mach 1 badge there. And because we've got the handling package, we also do have this unique spoiler on top of that. So it's going to look slightly different. But the Mach 1 does technically have two different choices that are available. So it's either going to be either the 600 pack or the 700, with the 700 being the more loaded option. So slightly more loaded. It's got a few more options, but that's going to be the difference as well between cloth seats versus leather seats, which we'll touch on in a second. One cool thing though, this thing also does feature the active valve exhaust system. So take a listen to what that sounds like. So that is really, really nice. Now, the handling package has a lot of other great features that are going to be included in it as well. So this thing is the regular 5-liter V8 engine, but it's slightly different than what you're going to find inside of the regular GT. So let's take a peek underneath. But I guess one thing to point out before we do, we've got intelligent access. So as long as we've got the key fob on us, we can lock the door there, slide our hand underneath in order to be able to unlock. But oh, look at this. We've got our Mach 1 badge right along the scuff plate there. Nice looking door. We've got this nice white stitching that follows all the way throughout the seat. We'll get to the seats in a second, but these are the optional Recaros. But let's take a peek under the hood. I love it. We've got our scoops along the top there. I am a little torn on the look of the graphic here. The decal is different. I mean, it obviously looks nice with the fighter gray, but I love me my blue Mustangs, and even the black ones with white stripes look really sharp. It's gonna be a matter of preference though, but this still looks fairly nice. But let's take a peek. underneath the hood. And up we go. Not too bad. Fine. As I mentioned, this is the 5-liter V8, so the Coyote engine. It's going to be standard inside of the GT as well as the Mach 1 version of the vehicle. Now there's one difference. We've got this that's going to be standard, so our cold air intake, it's going to be standard inside of the Mach 1, not available inside of the regular GT. But similar to what we're going to see inside of the GT, we've got our strut brace along the top there, Mach 1 badge in the middle. It would be painted black when we get the GT Performance Pack inside of the regular GT. But power-wise, this thing got a little bit of a downgrade from the 21 to the 22, 470 horsepower and 410 pound-feet of torque. So it's still fairly impressive power. You won't really notice the difference between the 21 versus the 22. And then if you are concerned you want that truest performance, you could always do an ECE tune as well. You could potentially void your warranties, so make sure any work that you do aftermarket, either be okay with potentially voiding your warranty, or better yet, check with the warranty department at your Ford dealer. They'll be able to give you all sorts of options and answers and things like that, so you know exactly what you're doing, won't potentially void your warranty. But at the same time, if you're tracking this thing, it's probably gonna get voided anyways. But this is nice, like really easy. If you can top up fluids if you need to, you can easily check your oil off to the side. And again, that 5-liter V8 Coyote is great. Now, hopping inside, because there are obviously some things that I pointed out, specifically the Recaro seats. So the Recaros, don't get me wrong, they are a super, super comfortable seat. And if your intended purpose for the Mach 1 is going to be tracking it, it's a really good option. Like, it hugs the body very, very nicely. But the downside to having the Recaro seats is that we no longer have the option for heated and ventilated. So that goes away when we get the Recaros. So if you do want to have heated ventilated seats in your Mach 1, just don't go for the option with the Recaro seats. But I mean, obviously if you're tracking it, it doesn't matter. Now there's one thing that this car has that is optional, and that's going to be, well, it doesn't have, I should say. It doesn't have the option, but we could actually remove the back seats directly from the factory. So the Mach 1 specifically does have that option where we can get the rear seat delete. So if you know that you're going to be tracking it, you can save yourself some weight, just get that done from the factory, or just rip them out yourself, throw them in storage, whatever the case may be. But the seats, like I said, they are still really, really comfortable. I love it. It's nice. Now, inside of the Mach 1, tons of things to point out here. Like, we've got essentially a fully loaded vehicle. We've got our fully digital cluster screen. Let's do a quick little start up there. Nope, I guess it helps. Oh, there we go. Okay, perfect. Starting her up now, and we've got our nice welcome screen. As you can see, we've got our tachometer, speedometer, fully digital. We've got tons of flexibility. Like, we can customize the overall look and appearance of this screen, and that's all done through this part here. But if you want to walk around and how to use the steering wheel buttons, the instrument cluster screen, or the sync media screen, check down in the description below. But this thing is fairly loaded, so we do have our lane keeping system we can toggle on off. We've got our blind spot system for our side view mirrors, our base cruise control, a series of other options as well. And then we've got this nice aluminum look. So just focusing on the look for a second, it's a beautiful aluminum that shoots all the way throughout. Because this is the Mach 1, we've got our Mach 1 badge along the side of the passenger there. We do also have all of our gauges, so our oil and vacuum gauge will be standard inside of the Mach 1. Now this one, you can just make it out, we've got our B&O badge, so that's our Bang & Olufsen badge, and that's with the Mach 1 Elite package. So we've got an upgraded security system as well as the 12-speaker sound system inside of this thing. And the system sounds really, really nice. Okay, that was half volume, and my door is open. The sound inside of this is incredible when you look at that upgraded B&O system. Don't get me wrong, the standard speaker system is good. This is just infinitely better. So if audio quality is really important for you, getting the upgraded sound system from the factory is probably something that should be on your radar. But so many incredible options inside of this thing. We're gonna have factory navigation there as an option. Even if yours doesn't have factory nav, you can still hook up and use Google Maps, Apple Maps, or Waze if you're hooked up through Apple CarPlay, or Google Maps if you're set up through Android Auto inside of this thing. But we've got our tuning rocker, volume rocker, series of different options for climate control. The Mach 1 will also have the toggle shifters no matter what. So we've got our four-way blinkers, traction control. We can change out the steering mode as well. So as we flip through, So we've got our normal, sport versus comfort steering. And then we've also got another toggle switch, and this is going to let us switch out for the different modes. So as we go different modes, we've got our normal, sport, track, drag, snow, wet, normal, and then we've also got a custom mode. We can set up a custom mode by going through our pony badge there, which gives us a ton of other options that are available. So let me just go through all of these, and we've got our pony. So as you can see there, so we've got our exhaust mode, my mode, tracks, performance shifters, launch control, rev match. So many things available inside of this thing. So if you are tracking a Mustang, the GT is good. The Mach 1 with the added performance and a few other options that you can get, even better. But again, it's going to depend on your budget. Now, one cool thing is that we are going to be 6-speed manual inside of this thing. And unlike the regular Mustang GT, which has the GetRag D4 for the 6-speed, inside of the Mach 1, it is going to be the Tremec instead. So Tremec 6-speed, we've got our 373 rear axle ratio, that's TORSEN, so the TORSEN differential. So it's a huge improvement in the handling compared to the regular GT. Performance, the shifting and things like that is just going to be much smoother inside of the Mach 1 in comparison to the GT. So you could technically get that 373 TORSEN if you look at the GT performance pack, but the Tremec is a Mach 1 exclusive. So you'd have to do something aftermarket and upgrade it if you wanted to go that route. So it really is going to be a matter of preference there, but it's really, really nice. Now, a few other things to point out. We do have our manual parking brake. We've got our ambient light as well, and that is my color. So through the screen here, we have the flexibility of adjusting the color out, which shows there, shows by our feet, as well as by the door handle as well. But we do have this white stitching, so it follows through the seats, down in the middle of the armrest. Popping the armrest up, we do have a USB port, as well as a 12-volt power point in there as well. And as we start to move up, we've got our auto-dimming rearview mirror. We've got our cabin control lights, as well as our HomeLink system. Dropping in here, we've got our, we've got our visor vanity mirror with built-in lights, business card holder on top of that. But the overall looks, the aesthetics, the styling inside of the Mach 1 is fantastic. The audio system, like, I still can't get over how good this thing sounds. It's really, really nice. And the overall bass styling, like I said, with the steering wheel, is the same as the regular Mustang lineup, but it still looks fairly sharp. Right now, a few other things to point out about this. So the Mach 1, well, the Mustang in general, technically does have back seats, but good luck getting anybody back there that's bigger than like 5'4", really? Kids might fit back there. Front-facing child seats will probably fit back there okay as well. Rear-facing, you'll probably be like a teeny little bit tight, but it is still nice, good design, styling all at the same time. Like, I love what Ford's done with this. Having our orange painted calipers there is nice. All of the uniqueness of the Mustang, it's really nice. The Mach 1 is great. We've got a larger radiator. We've got our K-brace, as I mentioned. We've got upgraded stability and tuning and chassis tuning as well. It looks really sharp. But if you are considering like a track-ready Mustang, the Mach 1 is a really good option. You could save yourself a couple bucks and just look at the regular GT, throw in your old cold air intake instead and get the same basic performance. But it's going to be a matter of preference. Do you want the namesake or do you want to upgrade it yourself? It's your call. But I love what Ford's done with this. The base styling inside of the Mach 1 is fantastic. I love that it's the Tremec 6-speed with the TORSEN differential as well. It's just infinitely better performance. Throwing in that Magneride system just brings the next element and like even better to it all at the same time. Like, it's really, really good, the setup that's available inside of this thing. And price point on it, you could just look at the regular 600. Looking at the 700 is when we can get some of these added packages and other options as well. But that was a quick look at the Mach 1. What did you think? I think Ford did a phenomenal job on the base look, design styling, the handling package, which adds in that front bumper, black pony, etc. I think looks fantastic. But if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, share it with your social networks, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. And until I see you next time, take care.